Throughout the vast array of character archetypes known to man, none stand as fabled and coveted as the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Said to provide a brooding male protagonist a chance to open up and see the inherent beauties of life, these fantastic fairy females are quite often characterized as bubbly, eccentric, and girlish in nature. One may not possess every trait common to a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but can be relegated to that description if enough apply. Not many seem to occupy the same series at once, but tentatively, a natural habitat for them appears to have been located in Bocchi the Rock is anime of the season year decade eternity, and no matter how much you love it, you do not love it enough. Kerorida and Keiichiro Saito did it for the girls and the gays, and that seems to fucking work out most of the time. I have a list. Yes, a list of all the Manic Pixie Dream Girls I missed over the past week, 2, and to celebrate the anime of the millisecond, the moment, the one you're experiencing right now, I wanted to turn that list into an iceberg, a tier list. Analysis will be provided when necessary, and also just to gush over Kita. This tier list is completely objective, the law of the land, and it's also a straight ranking of characters and how good they are. So if you want to go, let's fucking go! Okay, so we have our list. So the top and the bottom, Bocchi automatically goes to the top because humans can only save themselves. And then for the bottom, we go her mom, because what kind of fucking parent names their child Hitori? And their second child Futari! Hey, do you know how fucking funny the Bocchi adaptation is? That's right, tangent 1. There is no shortage of brilliant timing for the jokes in Bocchi, which is especially necessary when adapted from a 4-koma into something that moves with a limited time frame. Incredible examples of this are the wallpaper cut, Buff Nijika, and my personal favorite, Futari's name drop. When do you think we first hear Futari's name? Is it when Kita and Nijika come over and she introduces herself? No. Is it sometime when Bocchi chastises her? Nope. It's in episode 4, when Bocchi's struggling with her lyrics in the foreground, and she runs away from her mom, who calls after her. Daddy! And then we cut to the next scene. Jokes pass in this fucking show before you even register them. The next scene starts playing, and then you get the thought, wait, is that her sister's name? And let's see, we can fill out this list, the characters that are not very effective Manic Pixie Dream Girls. So we got Eliza, we got Gin, we got Futari, and her, maybe PA-san? Definitely PA-san, okay. And then for the rest, I think, yeah, Seika's gotta be mid-tier, cause she's not, like, outwardly supportive, except for that one time which did not go well. I just realized Carol and Tuesday aren't on this list, so they go in Seika's tier. You all right with that? You fucking better be. Let's see, in this tier goes Daddy Goto. Daddy Goto is so amazing, guys. Oh my god. The amount of support he has for his children, and especially Bocchi's interest in guitar, is so heartwarming. Like, he followed Guitar Hero in private until Bocchi needed money because he knew that that was the best way to confront her about it. Like, it may be projection and vicarious living, but at least he's fun and considerate about it. What kind of parent doesn't do those things, and what kind of child wouldn't want a parent as supportive as him? He's only not in top tier because why did he not teach Bocchi guitar? And Ryo. Ryo's kind of in the same vein. The MPDG just doesn't quite run in her blood. She's off doing her own thing most of the time, but she does try to support Bocchi from the shadows. She says multiple times Bocchi's a riot, but never directly to her face, and the most help Bocchi receives from Ryo is the confidence to write the lyrics she wants to convey, pushing her to better the band. More subconsciously, Ryo sets an example of the acclimated introvert for Bocchi, a goalpost instead of... Ah, shit, that's a terrible metaphor. How do I follow that one up? Like, more springy shoes? A horizontal escalator track? No, fuck this, I'm done. And then, Nijika is the OG Manic Pixie Dream Girl, so she goes up here. I guess I should rate these, so, within tiers. Nijika is the ODG. Everything you would want in a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Except babying you and holding your hand through everything. She's an actual fucking character. Nijika is glorious and splendiferous and
Don't you want to bask in the sunlight and scent of the Dorito angel? How much are the Nijika fans paying me for this? Okay, so maybe Bocchi doesn't have Manic Pixie dream girls. Maybe everyone besides Ryo has multiple character traits and are all synergetic parts of Bocchi's support system. But, also, I didn't know what other excuses I had to make a Bocchi video, and this is pretty fun. Praise your sun goddess Nijika! She demands offerings of guitars, basses, and introverts to join her band! Nijika is the best ever because she gives Bocchi opportunities to step outside of her own world. You see her climbing over the fucking park railings and you go, oh my god, yes! Invade that personal space! She is the first to reach out and rely on Bocchi for her specific skill set, the one she specifically trained for her goals of being a popular shining introvert, and very soon after relies on Bocchi again for something she is forced to grow to do. Nijika is highly advanced and adaptable Dorito fertilizer. From her interactions with Nijika, Bocchi is able to place her respect and determination for the live house and the zip tie above her anxiety and self-image. Nijika does so much necessary therapy for Bocchi. And then she just kind of leaves the rest to Kita. And then Kita. The undeniable romantic tension between Kita and Bocchi in episodes 9 to 12. Are you seeing this shit? You don't even have to see it, you can listen to it. If I Could Become a Constellation is the gayest anime song since, I don't know, pick a review Starlight song and listen. If there are 3 things I know the gays are into,
Based on a scant survey of Yuri anime,
it's stars, water, and parallels. And this song has 2 of them. You know, I wonder where the water is. Oh hey, it's in the album! The song is written about this first, bright, shining night star that the narrator looks up to, eventually wishing to pair up with it, if only by chance, in a world beyond the clouds. Somewhere starry, perhaps. Bocchi writes the lyrics for Kita. Guess who sings the song back to whom? This bridge sees Bocchi trying to peer into Kita's point of view, how Bocchi sees her as the ever-popular extrovert with the Kita aura, but in reply, how she thinks Kita sees herself, someone who didn't have that band, that connection greater than even family at first. Whereas Kita sings the lyrics addressing Bocchi, and the people around her that love and admire her that she doesn't see only because of her social anxiety. Then, there is this hope, a wish. If I could be a constellation with you. Passion breeds passion. It's a mutual pining over the parts of each other that they want from the other and are inspired by. Guitar and socialism. And then there's some gay shit. It's really, really gay. Expressing ourselves in flickers, sparkles, and pulses. Thank you, Lyrical Nonsense, for the Oxford comma. After a long journey, we ended up meeting. Maybe we were destined to meet no matter what. In a world beyond the clouds. That's beautiful. I'm gonna cry. I love my partner like that too. They're just like me, for real, for real. There's some bittersweet shit in the second bridge. But also, it's the gayest part of the song. Do you know the story behind the phrase tsuki ga kirei? Famously, the Japanese novelist Natsume Soseki translated I love you from English to tsuki ga kirei desu ne, or the moon is beautiful, huh? As more direct confrontation and vulnerability seems to be less suited for the culture. Regardless, the phrase stuck around, popular enough to even get its own anime. Now, what does this have to do with the song? I mean, surely, it can't possibly. You literally cannot get any more direct a confession out of a Japanese person if you fucking tried. Who the fuck shipped Bokita so hard it ended up in the song lyrics? Wait, I can look that up. Ai Higuchi? Singer and songwriter of Akuma no Ko, the fucking Attack on Titan meaning? Ai Higuchi then comes in absolute clutch with this last subtle parallel between the two. First chorus, as if looking up, pointing at the sky, keeping the line between us connected, no matter how bright I shine. Bocchi writes these lyrics as a sort of slump for the narrator, comparing what she sees as her relatively dim light to Kita's starlight star brightness. And then at the end, the lines connecting us won't be broken, no matter how bright you shine. Bocchi determines that even though that gap is insurmountable, she is still willing to try to maintain that connection between her and Kita through improving on her own life. But then when Kita sings Bocchi's lyrics, first verse, no matter how bright I shine, she's fucking shining! She's an incredible frontman, hyping up the crowd with head tilts and a wink like she's been doing this shit for years. And then she goes on to ad-lib a solo lead-in, like that is picking up for your bandmate. Absolute masterful showmanship. I can't even do that on stage without thinking about how I could have worded my pickup line better for days afterwards. That's why I read from scripts, baby. And then Bocchi does her solo, showing the crowd just how bright she shines as Kita finishes off the song. The lines connecting us won't be broken, no matter how bright you shine. There is still a gap, but there is also still a strong connection, and the difference between Bocchi's writing of the song and the band's performance is when they perform the song, they are both shining brightly, which means this song only comes to full fruition through the performance of it! When did this analysis become not about gay people? Sorry, Kita and Bocchi are such role models for each other that they spur each other on into mutual lesbianism. Sorry, mutual Manic Pixie dream lesbianism. Here, you can listen also to how often Bocchi's guitar completes or harmonizes with one of Kita's phrases. Is what I would be saying if Aniplex allowed Bocchi to be put on YouTube. I'm sorry, the links are in the description. I'll do my best. Yes, I know Ryo writes the songs. Fuck it, even Ryo ships it when she's not busy dead-naming Kita for the bit! Alright, Kikuri. That... I think she's top. I think she's top of Manic Pixie best dream I've ever had. What, you want me to be fully serious about this one just because it's the last one? Justify yourself for the Nijika fans that will get mad at you for not putting her absolute top. Yeah, okay. If you've never performed before, you might even know this subconsciously, but there is a vast difference between the anxiety you may get from social situations and the anxiety derived from being on stage. Stage nerves are something you can never and should never really be able to get rid of. The vulnerability of putting yourself on display and wanting others to see you naturally comes with fear. If your performance is anything you care about, you are selling your soul, tossing it to the sea of potential rejection. Of course there's fear involved. Bocchi wants to perform, but she also wants a practice round before exposing herself to a new social situation. Initially, she's not even willing to open her eyes for her second live performance. That could have been her exact same situation in episode 8. Unwilling to face the crowd, even hiding behind a mango mask again. Yes, she's joined the band, practiced for countless hours to be seen, but you can't be seen if you don't choose to perform. And she doesn't make that choice, at least without caveat, until she meets Kikuri. Kikuri is pretty much everything Bocchi would need in a mentor/Manic Pixie dream girl. She checks all the boxes. Bubbly, eccentric, flanderized, but possibly even more important, Kikuri has experience in the world Bocchi is hesitant to step into. Bocchi takes notice of Kikuri's skill and the difference between them on multiple occasions, only lending more credence to the advice she gives Bocchi about performance. Don't get hung up thinking about the sea of rejection, because it will show. Instead, do the show you know for the audience that came to see it. Because they're not your enemies. If you play your cards right, they might be your fans. But you can't play cards behind closed eyes. Kikuri empowers Bocchi in a way none of the other characters can. Since her talent bloomed later than Bocchi's, she can speak from a perspective of understanding that not even the other members of Kessoku Band can. She's a mentor that has the patience and empathy to support the band wherever they go, even if sometimes she shouldn't be allowed where they go. But Bocchi had to start somewhere. A small crowd where she can look everyone in the eyes. She had to start there to end up where she is. She's in the school hospital room. That's also Kikuri's fault.